Alright, welcome to another episode of Those Gundam Guys and Friends Live!
Woohoo!
Hooray!
Alright, quickly go around the room and introduce everyone. Maybe make sure this is on and playing. It should be starting. Yep. So, let's start off, Tim.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
Well, I'm still working on the Hummingbird, as you can see. But I got an excuse this time. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't get anything done last week. Or pretty much half the week before that, so pretty much I haven't done squat since the last show.
Awesome.
Yup.
So what are you going to be working on today? You going to continue working on it?
I'm actually working on these little clips. You can't probably see them, but little itty bitty clips that are going to go, just detail pieces that are going to go around the shield here. So, very, very tiny work, so I got to take my time on them. That's what I'm going to be working on.
Cool. Right, next up, Nate, you around?
Yeah, I'm around, but I'm not quite ready yet.
Alright, we'll skip you. No one cares about San Diego. No, never mind. We do care about San Diego.
Wow.
Alright, Matt, you're up.
What am I supposed to say?
What are you working on?
I'm working on the Utopia Cast Kshatriya again. Well, not again, but still.
And it looks like you're hand painting.
Hand painting, not the hand painting, yes.
Don't mind my dogs. Alright. Let's see here. Mike, what are you working on?
Working on a master grade XS with a resin patchwork conversion. Right now I'm just putting some pieces together that I have to mask off and paint later. But I needed to paint some parts first, then do a little bit of assembly, then some more painting, so...
So this was the kit you were working on last time, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's been on, I think this is the third episode with me working on this, third or fourth. Pretty big project. So.
No one's supposed to fix this last. Alright. Jimmy?
Hey! Still working on the Pit Bash right now, and so far I got the upper torso and waist pretty much done, and this week I'm working on the legs, shortening, making them shorter, and adding some detail here and there, so that's what I'm doing.
Cool. George?
Alright, I'm back to working on the Lanos here. Gonna be building a diorama with it with some figures, which I still haven't worked that out, and right now I'm back to working on gonna be packing a minigun, among other things. So I'm doing some more work on that.
Alright, there's one guy that's on watching the broadcast. It's 3 a.m. his time, so he seems like he's, I guess, England. So, Chris, what are you working on?
More on the Zaku, Doc, and GM that I've been working on, and maybe some seam line removal casually on the Captain Earth figure, and because you bitched about it.
How cool is that?
Okay.
All the damn seams.
That is, yeah, well, shut up, damn. That's pretty damn cool.
I don't think I'd seen before that the gym was using real grade parts.
Hey.
Actually, I'm using high grade parts.
Oh, the G30? I thought the arms were real grade.
We'll come back to this. Angel.
Yeah. You hear me?
Barely.
What's up, Angel?
Can anyone hear Angel?
I could barely hear him, actually.
Yeah, I can barely hear him. Eat the mic!
How about now?
Yeah, we got you.
Still faint, but we can kind of hear you.
Just come back to me.
Oh, we can hear you now. You're good.
I'm good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
So yesterday on those Gundam Guys, I put up these parts right here where I did like the difference between modifying a part so that you can paint the armor separate from the internals, and just something where you would have to mask. So these are the parts right here where I'm just gonna have to mask them because there was no way for me to get this slide on because it tapers at the bottom and gets wide at the top. So I just had to glue that together and had to mask that. This right here, I made these parts so that I can separate it and make it kind of look like it's a nice armor, two pieces of armor, instead of it being just two pieces like this where it's just straight.
Cool. Go right into it. We'll discuss this since you're already working on that.
Yeah, because I know some people had questions about that before.
What model is that, Angel?
This is actually the model Copper Hand Penelope.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a bootleg kit, but you know they don't have this out. Bandai doesn't have this out.
Yeah, we don't care if you know bootleg kits.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do with this part, the shoulder part, you can see that it's the seam right down the middle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna just saw it right on one side. Let me see if I can get my pen to work here. Let me get a pen. I'm gonna saw it right down this side here, and then glue this together. And because of the joint, the shoulder joint here, it'll hold the two pieces together. So when I put them together, it'll stay, like you can see here. So I have the middle point glued here, and then I have this. And then for the forearm, I'm just gonna come on this part right here and cut along this line here, like that, and I'll glue this part right here to this side, and then this right here I'll just have to glue it together and mask when I paint. So I don't know if you want to come back to me after I get some more work done.
Cool. Alright. Actually, let me present myself. What I'm doing right now is there's these mechanical chain bases by Kotobukiya. What I'm working on, actually, another octagonal base that I'm using as well. But I think this is a Korean knockoff. So what I'm doing is I'm just filling the holes in the base pieces. These base comes with these insert holes for other base pieces. These little circular insert holes for just little peg things to put on the base. And I think this looks horribly unsightly, so this is just excess sprue. And gluing those into position, I get to cut off the excess, sand, and then possibly fill in some of the small spaces that's left over with some putty. And once I prime this, there should be a nice flat surface without the holes involved.
There is a question in the chat.
What's the question, Chris? Can you read it off, please?
Oh, is scribing, Robin Hood would like to know, is scribing panel lines on resin the same as on plastic? I would like to use chisels. Do they work okay?
Okay, resin is a lot softer than plastic, so it's the same methodology,
Wait,
except
wait, before we finish, Pexter wants to know, to add to that, what do you guys use for really thin panel lines?
okay, good set of questions. Let me bring something out, and since it's on my camera, I'm going to show a couple of tools I have here. Now, if you want really thin panel lines, you're going to use stuff like saws, like this, or let me see if I could pick up another saw that's in my desk. I swear I had some saws here. Or like this. This is Tamiya saws from. They look like packages like this, and these are basically photo etch saws that are very, very thin. And what you could do is you lay down some tape. What I like to use is I have my dynamo tape.
I'm doing that now.
I'll lay down some black tape over the surface. I'll do a quick kind of simple example here. And hopefully this will sort of make sense. Oops. That was dumb.
Hey, is there any way to kick someone out of the chat on YouTube?
Just ignore them.
That should be one of the first features added to any chat environment.
I'm gonna lay down the backside of this, and what I'm gonna do is there's these VMC chisels which are very, very nice. They come in different thicknesses, and you can just run this along the edge of the plastic like this, along the edge of the tape, and you don't have to put too much pressure down because these chisels will scribe a decent channel very, very quickly. Now, what you're doing with plastic, it's a lot harder surface than with resin. Resin is very soft, so what you want to do is not use so much strength when you're pressing down on this. Just lightly run this across, and each pass you're going to pick up some plastic or resin as you run across this. Or you can use something like the hobby blade, or actually these Tamiya blades, and run across like so as well. And these are actually saws, so they will cut through plastic and resin very, very quickly. So what you're left with is a very quick panel line. If I pick this guy up, you see that there's a line right here that's created. Now you could, how deep this is depends on how much you go through that pass. Once you have that channel in there, you could go ahead and, without the tape, you could kind of pull up some more plastic or resin. But your panel lines are usually fairly shallow. You don't want too thick or too deep of a panel line. So hopefully that kind of answers that question.
I use the backside of a razor blade, of an X-Acto blade.
That works too. So do you have like an X-Acto blade, the backside of this?
Yeah, I think like an old blade that doesn't cut very well anymore, and I'll just use that. And if you want to take one, just break the tip off.
Tamiya also makes a scriber tool. And it's basically a hooked blade that you can use and run across this. And as you run across this, you're going to pick up plastic or resin. And I use this quite a bit when I'm actually cutting pieces apart. But this works as well. You see that the resins or the plastic's coming up off the blade. And that should answer that scribing question.
One thing about resin scribing, though, Clem, is sometimes I find there's different densities. You'll hit a pocket of like really soft resin, and it could definitely throw you for a loop the first time. So just keep in mind there's different densities in resin, and really, you know, throughout the.
Yeah, if you're scribing along and you hit like what we call a pinhole or a bubble, suddenly your scribing tool is going to dip into this, and you're basically going to excavate a pinhole. So
Yeah.
what ends up happening is you should fill that pinhole with this product called or a epoxy putty. This is called light curing putty. The consistency of this, once it cures, is very close to resin. It's very, very soft like resin, and you could go back and rescribe. So for many cases when I've scribed incorrectly or messed up my lines, I'll putty over it and then re-tape it and rescribe it.
Can you share your screen so they can see that?
Say that again?
Share your screen so they can see it.
Oh, crap. That's right, it's on 10. Sorry about that. So, yeah. This is called light curing putty. Consistency is very, very similar to resin. So I've had instances where when I'm scribing over a piece, I slip or I scribe too deep. So I'll just fill that seam or that fill line again, sand it down, retape it, and re-scribe this the panel line, and it works out pretty well. So, do we have someone new that joined? Actually, Nate's working on stuff, so we skipped over Nate. Nate, what are you working on?
I'm working on this PG Astray. Doing a couple modifications to the shoulder piece because it's all kind of one piece. This is actually a continuation of what I was doing 2 weeks ago. But
Can we see what you did? Does it look good?
So yeah, I'm just gonna be hollowing this out. That way I can put the mesh underneath. The mesh.
Well, you still haven't attached the mesh.
No, I didn't have. I was waiting for. I broke my X-Acto razor thingy, so I couldn't really do anything with it until I got one. So I was gonna work on the diorama, but I don't have enough room here to, with the computer and the camera all set up, to actually put it up on the screen.
How big is your diorama that you need more room? Holy crap, man.
I guess it's pretty damn big.
Nice. Is it as big as Chuck's?
As big as whose?
Chuck's? Well, we have a guy that kind of goes to our build gatherings and goes to our contests. He's the guy that built the kit that ass last year.
Oh.
So he's seeing what Mike and I have built, and he's come up with a. Currently, the size of it is like what, 36 inches? It's 3 feet by 2 feet or something like that. Or 3 feet.
The one that said that we had like 10 robots in there or 10 mechs in there.
Yeah, he has 10 HGUC or 144 kits in it. Overboard much? He says he can finish it, so we'll see. That's cool, It would make the display of several kits pretty damn impressive. So now I'm gonna go back to Chris to what he was working on earlier with his GMs, which look cool.
It's funny, as you're explaining the whole scribing thing, that's what I've been doing since the start of the taping.
Well, my apologies, scribe waits.
Like, literally, with his chisel and everything. Because I got the real grade second hand from a guy, his wife did it. And if you ever built a second hand kit, you gotta fix everything.
Oh, okay.
So, all the details gone from sanding, and yeah, not really much to see.
You're scribing, right?
Am I? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not watching this.
I'm chiseling. man. Look at the Oh, you're not on me anymore, or whatever.
No, I was just checking on the chat and see if there's anyone on there that had a
Yeah, no.
question.
When I drilled out the hole for the chest, I had to and the difference. Shit. Back. The difference in. I just told him.
How did you drill out the hole in the chest?
I just took my Dremel and just stabbed it, and then worked it around little by little.
So you didn't start from like a centerpiece and like.
Well, the first thing I did was because you know it's in different pieces. I just cut with my cutter with my am I on the screen? No, or whatever. With my Zerons, I just cut off the basic shape, and I used my Dremel to round it out till it fit on the claw. What was I just doing?
Cool. I find that if I'm drilling out plastic, I tend to the plastic doesn't play well when I'm messing with the drill, and I tend to eat up more plastic than I wanted to. So I usually start with a smaller drill bit, but still, that I still have that problem of the plastic getting eaten up a little bit.
Well, I mean, like there was a couple times. That's why I have on the outside. I put plating, thin plow plate around it, because it actually cut through to the other side, and I didn't want that. I had to rebuild the arm joints because the old high grade, they were too thick, and I sanded them down, and they just looked like shit. So I ended up cutting them, putting an 1/8 inch hollow tube in there, and then I took a styrene round tube and stuck that inside to strengthen it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Like Zagok's ready for painting. I just haven't gotten to it.
So, along with that, the base idea you have there, are you gonna do a cover over, or are you just gonna have it to the base?
See, I'm running two computers, so I can't. Am I on the screen or no?
You're on the screen.
Oh,
You've been on the screen.
I'm looking at the YouTube 30-second delays. I don't know. Here's the top. I'm gonna attach it eventually. I just want to run the wires through for the. I'm gonna put two pipes.
So it's gonna be an overhang.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I have some structure to go along inside it.
We might be able to send you a link to one of the guys that came to our show last year and brought that scene of a diorama. I think it was pretty well done.
Is that the one with the old kits?
Yes, the one. We used like some old 1980 kits and redid all of the work around it and built a diorama that was pretty damn cool.
I don't want my kit to look like anybody else's.
Not necessarily looking like someone else's.
It's funny. I started.
Ideas.
I started making like the leg parts. And I originally was gonna try to bash on the old high grade. And talking to a guy on another forum, he's like, "Why don't you just fill them in?" I did it, and then like I was just looking around at pictures of like to see if anybody else did a real grade GM, and I didn't know they made a conversion kit for it. I'm kind of pissed off.
No kidding.
Yeah, someone actually, and it's like the exact same thing I'm doing. It looks almost exactly the same.
See, but then you can be more proud of this because you did it.
Yeah, I know. You have to tell me. Damn. I'm not looking for your approval, sir.
Alright, let me see what George is doing. George looks like he's cutting out plastic sheets.
Yes, I am. If you look, I have a picture of the minigun up above, up on the screen. Near the back, like here, let's see if I can.
The handle?
No, I'm not on the handle yet. There's this detail right here that's it's a groove that as the interior of the weapon rotates around, that groove slides the bolts back and forth to operate the weapon. So I did part of that groove before just by putting a piece of styrene strip on, but I'm redoing it by using a thinner piece of rod and putting pieces of tube on top. And so there's a similar detail back here that I'm trying to get right now, but I don't have a piece of tubing that's the right size for it, so I'm trying to hand cut it.
Very cool. Jim?
Hey. Well, working on this gleg here. Trying to add some detail there. I don't know if you can see it on the thigh. Yeah, this leg was significantly shortened, and I guess it's time to work on the other one. I was trying to find ways to make it a little bit shorter, but I don't really want to spend like 2 months on a leg, so I think so far I'm...
You're not making one leg. You're not making one leg and then casting it.
No, I don't think so. No, because they're not. They're mirror images, right? They're not identical.
Oh, okay.
See, there's 2 vents here and 1 vent on the inner leg. So yeah. So I have to kind of duplicate what I did here on the other one. And then the backpack is going to be interesting because the head's in the way. So I'm gonna have to mod the backpack in order for me to mount it, so the head is cleared. And yeah, that's it. The bazooka is gonna require a bunch of work because it's hollow. I love the proportions of the SD bazooka. It's just that these old SD kits, they're I don't know why I don't know. I guess it was to save on plastic, but it sucks that it's so hollow. It's gonna require a lot of putty work.
I'm having a hard time concentrating as I see your toe lift up on the screen every once.
You see my what? Oh, my toe?
My God, what is that thing?
Head that's popping up. Tail? No, it's a giant toe.
I should draw like a little smiley face on my toe and just let it piece behind the face.
At least
So,
yeah.
So right now, if you guys look at the back of this is the part that's like the back of the thigh, and it has that little, you see that little detail there? There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to replace that with this.
Okay.
So it'll look much better.
You ever think about using like very thin magnet wire? Just wrapping?
Wrapping, a wire around it?
Yeah, actually, it won't look as good as what you have. You're gonna replace it. So you can replace it.
Yeah, I actually did that with my Resin Xeon. I took a piece of styrene tubing and just wrapped very thin copper around it to create like some sort of, the detail of the piping. But I got this stuff. I got this stuff off of my local hardware store. It's called steel sheathing, I think it's called, and it was pretty cheap. I think I got 5 feet for like $2 or $3, and they use that for very thin cables to protect, give some sort of shielding on very thin cables. So.
Okay, I know what it's like. Coax shielding.
Yeah, it's pretty much that, but it's made out of steel.
That actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's braided. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yep. So, and that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Why don't we go down to Mike? He's painting. You missed the spot.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll get it. Yeah, I'm just doing some more pre-shading. I'm almost done with the painting here on this kit. It's a lot of parts to paint, so.
You're not wearing a mask.
Oh no! Safety issue liabilities.
Start to paint as I go.
That looks like he's been painting his fingers.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty enough font. So I got.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Most of the metallics or all the metallics are hand painted except for the main color.
Say it again.
Are all the metallics hand painted? Is that red? Is that red?
Yes.
That was hand painted too.
All of this is hand painted except for the green and the main steel color.
So what's the red you use?
That is actually an acrylic red that I used. It's this called True Red.
So you use it over a metallic?
Yeah. I painted the whole thing gold and I put the red on top.
Oh, so it comes through pretty nicely.
Yeah, it took about 3 coats because that paint's pretty thin. I probably should have used Mr. Color. I could have done it in 2 coats, but red inherently is a very low pigment colored paint. And any lacquer, enamel doesn't matter. Red does not cover well.
Yeah.
So it always takes multiple coats of red to get anything covered. So like all this stuff.
Could have just masked him with one coat of red.
What's that?
No, I was busting your balls.
Well, what I did is I masked this off and painted metallic, and I went in there and picked up all the details. And that's actually easy to paint. You just daub the top of it and you're done. It's gonna focus. And then like this is relatively easy.
Yeah, that's nice.
It'll look good when it's all flat coated. I always, you know. And then on these, I'm gonna just go. I'm not gonna go crazy on this side. I'm gonna paint the screw heads, this piping, and I'll paint this. I'll mask this off and do this a different color. And then I think I call it quits on that part. With all the details up here, I'm just about. I'm not about painting all these panels different colors, but I'm kind of going cross-eyed, so I don't think I'm going to.
You're remembering which colors are going on which areas on 4 pieces of the damn thing.
Well, so what I do is like right now I'm painting black. So I paint this one, then I paint the next one, the next one, the next one, and then move on to the next color and paint all those pieces.
Okay.
So I don't paint this all the way and then go to the next one. I'll paint like last night I painted all these pieces, all these red. So I did that in one, and I went to the next one. I did the other one.
Okay.
So I don't forget what's painted what color. So.
Very cool.
Using everything from acrylics to enamels to lacquers. Using it all.
They all have different properties and work well with on top of one another, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the acrylics when I go to top coat. I think they'll do fine because we just test this dull coat, and that's a relatively, it's not a hot lacquer. It's very mild, so it shouldn't have any reaction with it. If I was to do like Mr. Color or something like that, it'd probably react with the acrylic.
Usually when I'm doing that, I do a very light mist, let it sit for a little bit, do another mist, and
get a little light base layer first, and let it settle down, and then you can follow up with excessively wet coats. Yeah. So yeah, doing all this stuff.
Should we work out where we're getting that echo?
That echo is probably coming from just the number of people we have. We haven't really dialed it down to who, but it happens when we have so many people in there. If everyone's chatting at the same time, we just kind of get that echo sometimes.
Okay.
So I just don't want to blame myself.
It's always you, Glenn.
Yeah, it really is.
I dropped over to Nate. He looks like he's busy, working. So we'll skip him again. Go back to Timmy. Keep moving around.
All right, I had to turn my mic back.
Better hurry up, or she's going to make New York out.
I have faith that he's going to finish. I mean, he was at this point last year, right?
Actually, I'm a lot farther at this point.
And I'm just giving you crap, man. So all those detail words are they permanently glued on the base.
Yeah, these right here, they're glued down tight.
Cool.
And what I'll do is I'll just mask around these. There's a millimeter gap between each letter, and I have millimeter tape, so it'll fit in there right nicely, and it'll be an easy mask job. So.
Go back to Angel.
Tim, take your time, man.
No, I am.
Standing with neon standing sticks.
Yeah. You see what I'm doing here. So I went ahead and put together, and I've given us, you know, they've been, and it's dried for about, I don't know, about 15 minutes since you've been away. So it's pretty solid now. So I'm just going to go ahead and sand it down and get rid of that seam line that was there. And I'll go back and add a little detail with some styrene here that I sanded away. And this part will be done. And then I already went ahead and like you see here, I cut out the parts from these parts from here. I'm having it sit here together in glue. And I'll come back to that later and sand that down and test fit it and make sure everything fits okay. So it looks like this. And then next I'll work on this, just gluing this together, getting rid of that seam line right there in the middle.
Cool. I guess I'll present my screen as I continue working on this. So I've glued most of this down. Fill this with just styrene. I'm just gonna let this sit for a couple of hours, maybe overnight. I kind of trimmed I had these parts glued first, and I kind of already trimmed them down. What I'm gonna do is gonna go and sand some of this stuff down. A pretty basic step, and I think, you know, I see a lot of people using these chain bases, and they're really cool looking because they have so much detail. And you have a nicely painted, nicely built up kits that are sitting on these bases. That, you know, these holes just stand out.
Preach.
Yeah. And that kind of bothers me, but you know, it's your model kit. You do what you want. So I know for my Sucker Punch diorama, I filled these holes in and just sanded them down, and it's pretty simple, really. Just some styrene glue and the leftover pegs or leftover sprue trees from the kits. I mean, they're gonna go in the garbage anyways, so might as well put them into use. And you can run my fingernail across there, and it's pretty much gone. You can see it, you know, the white sprue piece stands out decently, but once I paint this up, this will be pretty much gone. And the idea I want to do for this is kind of build a shadow box. I was at Disneyland the other day, and I mean, I've seen these shadow boxes before. It's a small little vignette. And I mean, this is a master grade kit that I'm gonna house in here. My Tiki that I have yet to paint, but I did strip the gold off of it. What I want to do is do kind of a simple kind of hanger motif to it, and put some little bit of details and do kind of a small little vignette. Not so much a diorama, but a little display piece with, you know, the shadow box. And what's curious about the shadow box, if you look at it, it's a box. I've seen other modelers see this, and you only have one point of view from the front, or whatever side you choose as your viewpoint, and you look into this and you set the lights for it to highlight certain areas, so that you're making the viewer focus on what you want them to focus on, as opposed to a purely three-dimensional space of a diorama where you can see all sides of it. So this is going to be an interesting project I'm working on. Whether I finish this sometime soon, I have no idea. For these orthogonal, for this kit, there's a certain piece that I want more of, like these pieces here, and I'm currently making silicone molds. Now, what I did this last night, and my silicone mold should have cured up by now. If I scrape along the sides of this, you can see that it's still liquid. So I might have a very bad batch of catalyst. So I'm gonna wait a couple of days, and if this doesn't cure up decently, I'm gonna have to wipe this stuff off the kit and start with a new batch of silicone. It's going to suck.
Probably just did it wrong.
Huh?
So you probably just did it wrong.
Sure, that's always a possibility. Thanks, jackass.
You're welcome.
Anytime.
Man, I'm a tool, right?
Oh, you read that? Yeah. There's always a possibility of doing something wrong. But that's the general idea of what I'm working on now. Is trying to do this. Get back into a big project where I recently finished my last time we were broadcasting. I was in a resin figure, and I have finished this Volt's resin figure kit. It's actually very, very easy to build. I should bring it out and show it, but it's on my website. You guys can look at it.
Hey Clem, on your record at that figure you did, were those the tattoos, were they decals or?
Yeah, the tattoo was a decal.
Yeah, I was looking at the site the other night. The whole friendly resin thing they're trying to sell, pretty appealing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull that arm and show that to you guys.
Yeah, go get it.
So this is the Revy kit that I built, and since I didn't want to pin it. I was having trouble pinning it. I used magnets, so it comes apart fairly easily. I have a magnet for the back of this piece that's fixed in there. So what Chris was asking about is the decal for her arm. And you see that. Hopefully you can see that fairly decently. I'm using everyone else's trick of putting your hand under this. So you can see that this was decal, and the problem that was presented to me when I worked on this came with two decals. And the first one invariably went horribly wrong because this was one decal piece. And since this is a complex curve, as in the shoulder, the bicep, it's got a lot of curves, and anyone that's put decals on a curved surface, especially waterslide, actually the stickers on a curved surface, you're going to see that the edges wrinkle up really horribly. So my first attempt at this, even using Mr. Mark Softer, really didn't succeed all that well, and I had wrinkling all over the place. So I stepped back and looked at it and decided to cut the decal up into small chunks where I can lay a decal down in this area, let that dry, lay a decal in this area, and I can make sure that the edges don't wrinkle up and put the decal together. Now, I'm not sure how car modelers do this. They probably do the same style where they cut up a decal. Usually a lot of race cars have a huge amount of decals on it. So I assume that you could cut the decals up, and since they're water slide decals, when they're still not completely glued onto the surface, you could kind of move that decal around a little bit to align them up properly. Now, this is the huge benefit of working with water slide decals over stickers or dry rub decal. You can position it if you don't have it quite right or completely at the perfect angle. And until you get it perfectly set, you dry it off, and then you apply some decal setter, apply another clear coat over it, and the decal set pretty good. You can't really see the decal lines or the edge of the decal lines on here because the Mark software has done its job melting those decal lines down, and it adheres to the curve quite nicely. Does that sort of answer your question, Chris? Does this help a little bit?
I was just asking if it was a water slide.
If it was worth it?
If it was a water slide.
Oh, yeah.
That was the question.
That's a long answer.
Yes.
To the audience.
Translation, yes.
I was curious if you like hand painted it or not.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? I can't hand paint to save my life.
Well.
I hand painted some of these details in here, but again, this was a very nice kit that came together very nicely. I put magnets everywhere, so swap out.
How does that work?
How does the magnets work? They have different polarities. I'm sorry, I'm being a jerk.
Are there any questions in the chat?
What?
I'm asking the chat. Does anybody have questions?
Okay. Yeah, if you guys have questions, if any of you guys are interested in resin figure building, a number of us do that as well. I think a couple of us were working on resin figures last time, and none of the other jackals finished. Of course, I didn't move to a new house either, so. See, someone appreciates that answer, goddammit.
Doesn't want you to hurt your feelings.
I don't care. Alright. I was working on something interesting that I could focus on.
Me?
Alright, I'm going to present to Chris because he asked the question earlier.
You're gonna get some show.
Hey, it's not about just the showmanship, it's about building. I mean, the whole process of, or whole reason why we're doing these broadcasts is to kind of, these are typically.
Yeah, so, how do you guys deal with resin dust? I've always wanted to combine it, but didn't because I didn't have an airbrush. I heard that resin dust is really toxic. Eric walks.
Breathe it in. It's all good.
Wet
sanding.
I mix it into my coffee.
That's a good answer.
I don't sand it in the house. I sand it outside.
I like to save some of it, and in case I gotta mix it with glue, the filler.
The correct answer is you're supposed to wear a mask.
Yeah, the correct answer is you're supposed to wear a mask.
I don't think any of us do.
But if you do have a pile of it and you line it up on a mirror and get a razor blade.
Alright.
The resin recast from E2048, okay.
Depends. It's hit or miss.
It's hit or miss.
Hit or miss. I just got an SD British dog from them, and it's really good. I've gotten kits from E2048 E2046 opened up and throw them right in the trash.
The reason why it differs is because E2046 is a seller. They're not a casting shop.
Yeah. Like,
So their consistency will change. Most places that sell resin kits are not the actual casters. They're just a reseller. So they buy from a workshop that does the casting, and there's usually several different workshops that they buy the kits from. And depending on how much the workshop wants to cut corners, save money, your quality of resin will be higher or lower.
Or they just may run the molds too long.
What was that?
They just may run the molds too long. You'll get stuff where you're just missing a ton of detail because the molds are shit.
Yeah, this is true. You usually want to be, because it's what E2046 sells, and most resin kit sellers do, is they're selling recasts. So they take an original kit, they make a mold of it, and they just sell the recast of it. Usually, it's the technology there is pretty good with making copies, so you're not really going to run into too many issues. But you generally want a first run kit because the mold hasn't it's only been run over for a certain number of times. You get like a third run, third or fourth run kit, you might run into problems with detail missing and whatnot. But needless to say, the casting quality is dependent on the caster. I've got some, original kits that were horrible.
Yep.
Because the casting shop that did it was just crap. So you could have original kits that are worse than recast, because you get an original kit that's badly done, but they recast it with high quality resin and end up doing a better job of creating that kit than the original seller, which that happens every so often.
And vice versa, I've gotten recasts that are better than the original. So.
Yep.
I just got a couple kits from GarageKits.com, I think it is.
GK model.
GK model, yeah, and they're really, the ones I got were excellent.
Yeah, I got a kit from them. It's pretty good.
What I like about GK is they'll tell you who the shop is they're buying it from.
Oh, really?
Really?
Like if you ask them, they'll tell you it's like a C&T kit, and like you could ask for pictures of the resin ahead of time, and they'll actually pull them out of the box and take pictures for you.
Yeah, it was my first experience with them, and I just heard really good things about them. The price was good, shipping was reasonable. Yeah, and I've heard it had really good customer service, so I thought I'd give them a shot, and yeah, pretty good. Can't complain. Now they are primarily figure kits, kind of like E2046. They do have some mecha stuff, but it's mostly figure.
Well, have you looked at their Hong Kong site where they have all the mecha stuff?
No, someone told me about that, but I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I'll send you the link on Facebook.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
They like anything that's not on the GK site. You could just give them the URL from their Hong Kong site, and in the message, and they'll give you the American price for it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when NeoGraders was around. They had an English site and they had a Korean site. And the Korean site had a bunch of kits that they weren't offering on the English site.
I remember Utopia Cast did that too for a while.
Yeah, I don't even have a website anymore.
Yeah. You can only order through Taobao now, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I got this, they had a website up. That was like 3 years ago or something. I do have to say one thing. I bought these in brushes, and they were worth every penny.
Hey Matt,
Yeah.
when you said when NeoGray was around, you mean the website's down? It was taken down?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's no. They don't have a website anymore.
And there's no more NeoGray kits. There's no way to get. I
No,
mean,
man.
NeoGray's out of production.
He stopped production right after the Suzabi. That was the very last one. Not the Suzabi, the Double Zeta. Sorry.
That sucks. After they came out the ground Gundam, I asked them, are they ever gonna do an EZ8? And they're like, yeah, that's our next one. That was like 3 years ago. Fuck.
Oh, was he going to do an EZ?
Yeah, they're like, that's our next one. I was super happy. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna get that one. That's my favorite. Never happened.
Yeah, P, I guess he doesn't do that anymore. He works for some toy company now, designing like little collectible figures and stuff.
Mm.
He did a 1/48 Suzabi, and I've been bugging him ever since I saw it to sell me one, and he refuses to. No matter how much money I offer him, he won't sell me one.
Maybe you just haven't offered enough yet.
Yeah.
I've offered quite a bit, trust me. He said he's only making 3, one for him, one to keep, and then one for a friend. I guess I'm not a friend. Well.
Which kit was this?
Yeah, from Neograde.
Which kit?
He did a 148
148.
Suzabi.
Oh, okay.
The beam rifle is as tall as my 160th. It's insane. It's just massive. It's huge. 24 inches tall. He scaled up the 160th and did some design refinements on it. It looks really good.
So yeah, we're talking about the GK model shop. So let me clear off. This is a recent kit I picked up because Jim kind of brought this to my attention, and they're doing a run of this particular kit.
Oh yeah.
So this is the Marita.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice! It comes with eye decals.
I know. I got decals too. I'm so excited. Yes.
Did you pick up this kit too, Matt?
No, I got the 2 Asuka with Vespa kits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you posting up those. That's crazy.
Yeah, they look good.
I would never build one of those. You kidding me?
They don't look, the only problem is one of the instructions is like absolutely terrible. It's like some 2-year-old drew it and then drew some Chinese characters on it, and then that's your instructions.
Yeah.
So the motorcycle is gonna be tough. The figure's easy to figure out.
Actually, I think I have one of those Vispo kits too. Yeah, I'm never gonna build it. You kidding me?
Clem, what do you think of the casting?
This is the first time I'm looking at the casting. It doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of dry fit a few of my parts. They keyed right together.
I like that she doesn't have a ginormous chest, which is kind of cool.
Yep. It's very, very true to the anime, because there was another Marita Cruz resin figure floating around, but that one looked ridiculous.
And I do like that these gate areas are very, very well defined.
Yep.
So I mean the arm just comes right here and fits right on there very nicely.
Yeah, the gate placement's really good, and they're fairly small.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna drill holes in this and put magnets in here as well. That seems like a very easy way to put this thing together. I mean, there's always it looks like that doesn't belong there, or does it? Oh, there we go. This looks very nice. Yeah, so for any of those guys out there that are, interested in resin figure kits or even resin kits in general, they're not that difficult. there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's it's completely doable.
Make sure you like the sand.
Yeah, if you like the sand,
You're good to go.
Clem, that Marita Cruz GK, the only thing that I wish it had was the base that has the Neo Zeon logo on it. The original PVC was clear. I would have wished they used clear resin for that, but I guess we got to make our own clear one, or use that one if you want. But I think the clear one looks better.
I could probably cast this. Well, it was clear, right? This piece.
Yeah, it's clear, and the logo's gold, so it looks really nice. And she sits on top of that.
Oh, I could easily cast this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing.
I think Jim's putting his order in, is what he's saying. Oh wait, Jim can cast. Wait a second.
Well, not really. I'm still learning. That shit is hard, man.
There's a little bit of a learning curve with casting, but once you get it down, it's pretty easy.
It's been kicking my ass. I spoke to the guys at Smooth On, and basically they said to make sure my humidity was below 50%. And,
You're in Florida, that's possible.
yeah, here in Florida, it's like a pain. It's like I've been monitoring the humidity for the past week, and I can't. It's not. It doesn't go below like 55. so that might be my issue. That might be the reason why my resin never cures, is because it's just too humid.
That'd be like me calling and say, well, make sure the temperature's outside is below 95. I'd be like, fuck you.
Below 95?
What's that?
Below 95?
That'd be like me calling Smooth On and then telling me to make sure the temperature outside is below 95. Well, it's been 105 here for the past week.
Hey Clem, I wanted to ask you something about resin casting. When you take a piece and you decide to make a two-part mold out of it, is there any particular criteria that you use to determine where the middle line or where the mold line is going to be, or do you just say you just pick the middle, or does it really matter?
That's a damn good question. Okay, let me show you some examples.
The reason I ask is because when I tried doing my first casting of the piece that I wanted to cast, I found out that it was a little bit difficult to demold because it had a part that was kind of hooking into the silicone. I don't know if that makes any sense.
You had an undercut.
Yeah, it was exactly. It had like a little bit of undercut. So I was thinking if I would have made the seam line a little better, I would have avoided that undercut somewhat.
Yeah, that's going to come with experience as the more you kind of build stuff. So if you take a look at this mold, and maybe I should present myself.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at this mold, what I did was I molded some cars. I had these die-cast cars here that I made molds of. So this is just a Porsche. You know, the problem I had with this is I tried to mold all four at one time, and you can see that a decent amount of the pieces here and the decent amount is here. Yeah. What effectively I would rather do is have majority of the piece on one side. So this would be an example here is kind of this. I made a piece for Revi's magazine clip. So the majority of the resin was in here, but very little here. You can see that, you know, there's very little just detail here. So when I close this up, it squeezes out a little bit of the resin, and most of the detail is at the bottom versus, you know, just one area. So when you're looking at something you're molding, like this car, for instance, what I ended up doing is, since this is a negative cavity here, I filled this with Play-Doh. Okay. And I just put this on top of my mold, just lightly so that only the wheels are on one side of the mold. So what ended up happening is this area right here was sitting on top of the ladle, and the rest of this was covered with silicone. So that my one piece was this entire top area. So when I went to do the other piece, the other side of this mold, I remove all that excess. So effectively, I have just this sunk into a piece of silicone, like so. So then when I made the second mold piece, I just poured it on top of here, and only this top part had the mold line. So my mold line just ran ever so slightly across the wheels, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay.
That way, it also makes it a lot easier for me to cast, because when I go to fill this, and then when I go to close it up, I'm not going to have resin leaking all over the place. I'm not going to have resin holes or where it didn't fit, or I didn't have enough resin. So this was actually a really bad mold idea that I made here.
Hey Clem, why is that mold like why does it look like a book instead of being like two pieces?
So what I do when I make my molds is I make one piece like so, and this is usually just one piece. And what I do when I make my second piece is I use Vaseline. I use a little brush, like so, and brush on my Vaseline.
Okay.
I'm only brushing on my Vaseline and on this side of the mold, so this demolds easily.
Oh,
Vaseline will keep this from sticking to it, but I don't have Vaseline here. So what ends up happening is this becomes a clamshell type mold.
Ah, nice.
It's not necessarily a two-part mold, but
Hey, Clem, you know this whole time you haven't been presenting?
I see you though.
I'm presenting, dummy.
Not on YouTube.
It's
Everybody else. I just looked up.
I don't even have mine.
It's on Jim's screen.
That's interesting. It should be me presenting.
Start over.
You have yourself clicked on someone, or you're actually looking at the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm looking at the YouTube one.
Huh. Someone broke the internet.
It's probably my fault.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me change over the mic.
Oh, frozen? Yeah, what's up?
And let's see if it swaps over.
Thanks, Clem.
Hopefully that answers your
Yeah, and I learned something new too with the clamshell thing. It's pretty nice.
I think you're looking at the delay.
Yeah, I'm saying the whole time you were explaining it was on Jim's screen. Now it's on yours, on the YouTube channel.
Interesting.
Now it's on my. Now it's back. It's working now.
Huh. Whoops.
Yay.
Yeah, just explain it all over again.
I'll just kind of go through the motions of, is it showing me now?
Yep.
So what I was saying earlier about this, clamshell, I'm gonna have to go over this all over again.
No, just say, everybody who heard what he said, look at what he's doing.
Yeah, remember what I said, and just look at the pictures.
Yeah.
No, but I don't mind explaining it again. So if you look at this, this is where I have Revi's magazine clip. So majority of the resin, or majority of the part, is in here. So if you imagine this car being embedded in this mold here, this was a bad mold because only half the car was embedded. But effectively, I wanted the whole car embedded so that it looks kind of like this, where the mold comes up to maybe the edge of the tires. So that when I look at the mold, imagine this empty space as the mold, and that's where the majority of the part is sitting. And when I go to make the second piece of the mold, I'm molding this part so that my seam line is only about right here. And this makes it easy, very, very easy to cast, because I'm not going to lose resin when I'm kind of squeezing these two parts together. Now, this would work if I had this squeezed together and I had a pore hole here and I just dropped resin down here. But I haven't been very, very successful with that, so this is how I've been successful in my resin casting, is to cast something similar to this, where it's, the top piece doesn't have too much detail, and when I close it up, most of the detail is down here, and it's easy to mold, it's easy to demold. So that should solve that. Now, if you look at a lot of resin kits, you'll see that they're going to design it so that the mold lines are going to be, the mold lines are going to be very, very hard to find. That's if you have a sculptor that cares about how you're building. So you'll see most of these parts here, you have a mold line that runs across here, which is fine, because the way this is cast is probably a two-part, like one here, one there. I don't know why this is running here, so I see a mold line down here. That's not too bad. But this kit was based off of a figure, right, Jim?
Yep, I see. I'm looking at your screen.
So I'm asking. This kit was based off of a figure, right? Not not actually a resin kit before.
Yeah, it's a PVC figure that's it's kind of rare nowadays from what I've been reading. You still get it on eBay, but I think it's like around $150. Of course, you and I know it's better to, at least for us, right? We enjoy painting the figures ourselves.
Yeah. So what I imagine, I think Angel was saying something that he's gonna build a hand for her to sit on. Or it was a different kid I think he was talking about, right, Angel? As I segue over to him.
Doesn't the Marida Cruz?
No,
You went to Montan, right?
yeah, I got the Haman. I was gonna make a quibbling hand, but I'm probably gonna have to wait till next year.
So there's a question, kind of, I don't know if somebody can answer it now. Where'd it go? Oh, crap. Basically, how do you modify a head so you paint it without, and also remove the seam line?
I can answer it. I have an example right now.
There you go.
Let me go over to present to Jim to answer this question.
All right. So it kind of depends on the head. Master grades heads are maybe a little bit easier, believe it or not, because they're smaller. But you kind of have to get creative a little bit. In this particular case, it's two pieces that go together, but you have to sandwich it. You have to put this in, the face mask, and then sandwich the two pieces together. What you have to do is kind of think about it a little bit and see how the head fits and what pegs are inside. In this particular case, and I've seen this on some master grades, there's two females inside. Ooh. And basically what you need.
Sounds like a good time.
And there goes everyone's mind.
Well, two female pegs, and they connect on these two little males, like so, right?
Man, this dope.
So you gotta. Well, I already do this. So you gotta kind of bear with me. So inside, this is how it looks, kinda. These two are inside. So in master gray heads, you can just get by just creating what is called a seat cut. I don't know if you can see it. You see that little notch? Let's see. There you go. that little notch that I created there basically allows me to slide the head from below and snap it like so. See? So instead of inserting it like this, I'm basically inserting it from underneath. So what I end up doing is I had to cut these pegs out, and I had to cut this little piece because this holds the neck piece. Now again, it depends on your model, right? You gotta be a little bit creative with this and kind of think ahead and imagine, okay, what do I need to cut or what do I need to modify in order for this to work? But in this case, for this SD head, I had to cut these with my hobby saw, which is this little saw that's specially designed to cut very thinly, made by Tri-Tool. So I cut those. I glued the helmet and got rid of the seam line, and so I paint all of this, and once it's painted, I have to basically glue these. I have to glue these back in there, or yeah, you glue these back in there. You slide the head in because there's nothing in the way. I can stick my finger here. There's nothing in it. I can easily place the face mask inside, and then this part that goes here, I can place it back and glue it and complete the head. So, you know, that's kind of like a rough explanation of what you need to do. But in short, you got to think ahead, kind of plan out what you need to cut, and master grades I think are easier to do, to be honest, because there's not many pegs inside or whatnot. This has more pegs for you to kind of snap and create support. But since I'm doing this together, it doesn't really matter. You can just cut them off. But yeah, that's pretty much the answer. Just plan ahead and just go for it, and it's totally worth it. Instead of, I mean, it's easier, right? It's easier, and it will yield a better result if you get rid of the seam line, and it's easier to just cram that piece in there and mask and hand paint. You get better results that way. Anyway, if you got further questions, just hit me up on Facebook, and I'll try my best to kind of guide you if you have a particular kit that you want to work on.
I think you answered the guy. One of the guys on there is pretty impressed with his
Okay.
They just weren't cool. There's we're teaching out there. This is awesome. Hey, how's the mesh going?
How's the what?
How's the meshing going?
No, I'm still hollowing. I'm hollowing out the other shoulder now.
So you completely ripped out all that detail.
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
Blasphemy, I know.
No, never. I hear drilling, so I'm guessing that's Chris drilling the thing.
Sorry.
No, I was looking at what you're drilling. You're drilling into the base.
Yeah, I'm gonna tube for the wiring underneath. I was making it bigger so I could put a little half-inch tube.
Ooh.
So there's no chance of tearing.
Tim, are you scribing?
No, I'm just drawing.
You're drawing for what?
Basically just trying to get an idea of what kind of panel lines I'm going to be doing.
Okay, so you're planning it out with a pencil.
Yeah, just sketching ideas. If I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I erase it. Easy as that.
Very simple. Mike's still painting.
Just making smoothies.
Sorry.
That's fine.
As loud as hell.
So I drilled a hole here. And I'm going to drill a corresponding hole in
So, Clem, you're not pinning that figure. You're just gonna
No.
magnets.
I really like the whole process of gluing in magnets. So this is gonna take CA. Whoa, that's too much CA. What the hell? So let's see here. Wipe out my excess CA glue. Try that again. So a little bit of CA glue, and I'm gonna make sure I know my polarities. So I'm gonna stick a little guide on here. So I have a smaller magnet over here, so I know my polarities. Just gonna stick this in here. So now that my magnet's connected here, I know that my necessary polarity is on this side. So you go ahead and switch this over here. So when I go to glue this piece, or glue the magnet onto this corresponding piece, I'm not going to have a polarity conflict.
Have you ever made the mistake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
Oh my gosh.
That means digging the magnet out.
Yep.
So that's in there right now. This is in here right now, and this goes together like so, and it comes. It's a nice connection, and that's my pinning. Now, I do not recommend using magnets for load-bearing areas, such as legs. But her legs are already attached to her body; it's one piece. Most kits I've worked on have separate legs. Or actually, some kits I have worked on some kits that have legs attached. So for something like the center of this body piece, I would actually drill a pin through this. So let me clean off some excess flash. I'm gonna do another test fit. That looks good. Now, for a pin like this, I usually use these pins. Now, it's always a good idea to measure out your pins to make sure you have the correct size. That's too small. That's about right. Now how I go about this is I usually drill from top down through the bottom here. So that I know that this is a straight pin. Actually, I could take this apart and just drill through here like so. Now, some people will use a power tool. I find that this has a little bit more precision. So I've drilled through this entire piece here. All I have to do is match this up with this, hold that together, and drill into my bottom piece. Now that I have a pilot hole here, I can continue drilling this. Now, depending on how much load bearing this is going to be, you want to drill a little further or not as far, depending on how thick your resin is. And this resin goes all the way here, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Insert one pin here. Take a pair of clippers. Cut that. And attach the body to there, and this is pinned. It's a pretty basic, process.
Let me have a question.
I have a question.
They asked if you ever use Kicker to quick dry.
Here. Talking about like super glue. I actually prefer just the regular drying time for super glue. I think that regular super glue dries too fast, or as it is. Stuff I use is Max C Cure. This is actually just the model shop branded version of Maxi Cure. There's a product called Zapagap that's more expensive than this. It's basically the same stuff, CA glue. I don't necessarily need things to dry that quickly. If I want slower drying, or if I want a different, especially for load-bearing areas where I need tensile strength, I'll use epoxy glue. And this is a 5-minute glue. It takes 5 minutes for it to set up. So this is good enough for my purposes now, especially if I'm gluing together just magnets. I don't need an accelerator. I know a ship modeler friend of ours uses accelerator because he needs to work faster. I'm not sure how brittle that makes the bond.
That's basically why I use it, is to make it faster to work with the super glue. I use.
That was awesome.
You sound like Max Headroom.
That was hilarious.
I know you did.
I heard the same thing.
That was pretty cool.
Huh.
Imagine how many people watching don't even Max Headroom are, or is.
Just us old fuckers.
He's all you got when you're too young.
Half the people was like, Max who?
Exactly.
Alright, if you fucking youngsters don't know who Max Headroom is, go on YouTube and look it up. You'll thank me. Max Headroom.
You really think they'll thank you for that?
Oh,
I don't give a shit. It's awesome.
God, you're old. Xavier. He joins the chat and he's muted himself.
Anyway, what I wanted to say about the superglue accelerator is it's useful stuff. Sometimes I'm just working with a part and I need it to be where I put it and stay there and not have to wait around for anything to cure. Use whatever super glue I got handy and just give it a little spray and it'll just stay put.
Because there is a cure time to superglue, correct? It's not instant bond, but there is a little bit of a cure time, correct?
Yeah, it depends a lot on the formulation. I mean, there's slower super glues and there's faster super glues. If you start with a slower one and then use a kicker to accelerate it, the advantage is that you have work time. Whereas if you have a quick curing super glue, it's pretty much one shot. But if you use the accelerator, then you can have some work time and then decide when it's going to freeze.
If you kick over my screen real fast, I have these two from Bob Smith Industries.
I got this thing.
I don't know. I always get them from Red Frog Hobbies. Like this one here, the Instant Cure Plus is 5 to 15 seconds. The Max Cure is 10 to 25 seconds, and then like the accelerator. And I also have the I don't like this one as much. The Zip Kicker accelerator. I don't even know if I was on the screen. I'm on the screen. Whatever.
I don't think you gave me enough blues, Chris.
Right on. Let me stop. You ever try using this glue, the micro weld by Microscale?
No, I never heard of it.
It smells like lemons, and it's supposedly all natural, and it works.
Does it taste like lemons?
Hold on, let me sniff it real quick. Yes.
Like lemon jasmine.
It for styrene it works pretty good. I mean it's not super fast, but when for plow plate to plow plate, after like a day it's hard as a rock. It's a nice alternative if you don't like toxic smells.
It melts. Does it melt styrene? Is that what it does? Or just like similar to the sea glue? Sorry, I just stepped on you.
Yeah, it's liquid cement for styrene plastics. Easy to use, clean, safe, fast, non-toxic, environmentally safe. So if you care about that stuff, you know.
Well, you know, if you live in California, you might care about that stuff.
Like that.
So I'm gonna attempt to go back to Xavier because he looks like he's working on
Half the fun of modeling is using toxic materials, though.
newly joined on our build. Are you using your phone, Xavier?
Is there room?
Is you muted? Oh.
He's lost video though, or audio.
Oh, did we lose him? Shit. Oh well. I still see his video. Just can't hear him.
And he's got nothing on his screen as far as like, well, oh, there it is.
All right, guys, I gotta go. It's bedtime for me. So.
Oh, really?
Okay, Jim, you have any plugs you want to throw out?
No. I mean, check me out on Facebook, YouTube.
Next Gunpla Talk is when?
We're planning it for. Yeah, but end of August. Most likely last Saturday, but we'll post the link. Hey, before I forget, the person that asked about the modding, I forgot to mention there's an episode of the Japanese modeling show, the Plan Motsukuro. Look it up in YouTube. Look up the episode for the RX-78 Burka. The guy in the video actually does the mod. He kind of shows you step by step and the cuts that he has to do to fit the, to be able to paint the face mask and the helmet separately and get rid of the seam line. So I think that helps a lot to trying to kind of understand how do you do the mods for master grade. So there you go.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Jim. Catch you next time in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks for having me.
Bye, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Alright, looks like Nate's sanding with multiple color sanding sticks. Where do you pick up your sanding sticks, Nate?
Huh?
Where do you pick up your sanding sticks?
I love them. Too bad I have to drive 100 miles just to get them.
You're up here anyway, so.
I know. Right there.
We haven't talked much to Mike today because he's busy painting.
I'm just painting.
You got painting?
You know, I've started painting a different color now.
Mike's hair always looks so nice on YouTube.
It's because I'm freshly showered before this.
Oh, you shower for this?
Yeah, man, we want to smell them.
Not by choice. I get dirty at work. I have to clean up when when I get home.
Oh, I forget. You work for a living.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm doing some yellow here. There's not that many parts that are yellow on this, but going through them pretty quick here, and then I can move on to the red. Maybe.
I just want to make sure we give you some time, Mike.
Huh?
You've been about as quiet as Angel has.
Well,
Hey, I talked more.
you got some good stuff to talk about. So.
Yes, I know. Which is why the focus is back on Angel.
Oh, now I don't want to talk. Come back to me in a few. I'm gonna start painting.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from chat?
Oh, we can't keep up. Right.
No.
I'm working with plaster.
Matt's continually working.
Yeah, I'm just painting. I went ahead and painted these little bits right here.
Yeah, now that whoever brought up the resin kit thing, now I'm freaking pinning this damn thing. Thanks, jackasses.
Hey, you weren't gonna. Now look.
I actually kind of enjoy the pinning process. It gives you like the kind of the look of the kit, so you can decide whether you want to paint it or not, or if you want to work on it or not. You can say.
Do that all the time, Clem. I'll pin a kit, and then I'll kind of, not really, and then kind of either motivates you or kind of makes you want to do something else.
I know that there was a perfect grade strike that I put together and completely demotivated me to building it ever. So I sold it.
Why didn't you like it?
Too many
Any
parts.
specific reason?
Too many parts. I mean, master grade kits are getting towards the end that they're too partsy, but the perfect grade kits are really too partsy.
Hmm.
Man, it's like they named it something wrong. Perfect grade.
Then again, I'm starting to not like building things too big. I'm going towards where George is building
I sold all my perfect grades for the exact same reason.
I know I talked about this earlier with you, Matt, but you are hand painting with Mr. Color without any issues.
Yeah. It's like anything else. If the thinning's right, it goes on smoothly. And after a while, your brush will get gunked up a little bit, so I just rinse it out with some thinner. I just spilled some paint, actually. Yeah, I've done it in the past. And the super metallics were great. They brush on really, really nice.
You're painting out of the bottle too, which is
sometimes
mind-boggling to me.
Some of the super metallics spray really good out of the bottle. Most of them you have to thin. It depends on the color.
Right on.
You run into any problems with underlayers getting exposed to thinner again?
Actually, I just had that problem. I was trying to hand brush some Alclad, and it's too thin. It's got too much carrier, and it ate through my underlying color, so I decided not to do that.
Yeah, that's what I worry about most. That's why I use enamels over lacquers, and more so, I make sure I tried to clear gloss it first before I even trying the multi-layer different paint type things.
Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes. I just kind of get in the flow, and it's a lot of going back and touching up previous color. So when I'm done with this, I have to go back and touch up all my main color. So I'm just going to do it at the very end because you're not going to paint it perfectly, every time. Your brush is going to slip, or your paint's going to be too thin, and it's going to run everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of going back and forth until you're sick of it, or until you just feel like you're done. I'm going to take some of this purple, actually. I want to add some purple in this, and I just thin it just a little bit. That's straight out of the bottle right there. Let me get some light on it.
It's nice.
Matt, are you using leveling thinner?
No.
He's like, He's coming right out of the bottle with that stuff.
No, I'm saying like I've hand painted with Mr. Colors before, and like if you add a little bit of the leveling thinner, it helps a lot.
I just added a little bit of the normal thinner to this purple because it's a brand new bottle. But just enough. I don't want the paint. It's not like I'm not thinning it for airbrush. That's too runny. It'll run everywhere. But I don't. It's too thick straight out of the bottle. So it's like somewhere in between airbrush and I don't know. You just kind of get a feel for it. So what I do is I'll put it on fairly wet, and it'll you have brush strokes, but as it dries, it levels out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you use like the leveling thinner, it keeps your brush from like gunking up and keeps it clean.
Right. Yeah. I just don't have any right now.
Recently I found something called it's a quicker dry thinner by Mr. Hobby.
Yeah, they just released that.
Rapid I don't know. Let me put it close.
Yeah, it's like rapid dry or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Rapid thinner.
Because it dries so.
It dry faster.
Yeah, anyone used this stuff before.
I mean, maybe if you're in Antarctica, I could see it, but.
Or a more humid location.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, let's try Xavier again.
You guys hear me?
Now we do.
You guys can hear me?
Yep.
Holy crap, we can hear him.
Yeah, I've been switching around between using my my webcam and the one that's on my laptop. The webcam that I'm using right now, it's a little bit crappier than the one on my laptop, but I can't maneuver the laptop around in my work area very well. Also, the audio on one of the two devices doesn't work well, which is why I haven't spoken anything for the last 20 minutes I've been on.
Welcome to your first TGG live broadcast.
How's everyone tonight?
And others.
And friends, yes, and friends.
Thank you.
What are you working on, Xavier?
Oh, I'm working on an Angsha. It's from Gundam Unicorn. I'm just applying some decals on it. I used a clear coat of Future for the gloss coat on this for the decals.
It's all out of focus.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This webcam kind of sucks. I have to get a better one next time.
I think it's too close.
I used Future for this, and Mr. Mark Setter and Mr. Mark Softener, they don't work very well with Future, so I'm actually using Future itself to help seal it in afterwards.
I've stopped using Future.
I still have a good maybe quarter of a bottle left, so I figured I might as well use the rest of it somehow.
Yeah.
Xavier, Fogo de Chao, that's in the chat.
Trying to get him to treat you to dinner.
That's Bobby.
Bobby. Bobby likes to eat there again. Oh, hey, is Tim in the thing today?
Yep.
Oh, hey, we just got Kevin's entry for New York Comic Con.
Okay.
He filled out his entry form and everything, so he's attending for sure.
Cool.
Tim's like,
Yeah. That's awesome, right?
Are you excited?
Still feeling good about this, Tim?
I feel fine.
You got this. Of course, if Kevin was in this chat, we'd tell Kevin, you got this. Because, we're pandering douches.
Yeah, because I'm a tool, right?
Yep.
You know he's entering, Xavier?
No, I just know he filled out the form that indicated he was going to enter. I mean, I have a name, but, he names all his stuff the same theme every year. So, it doesn't really mean anything.
You're so low.
Yeah, your volume is low, Xavier.
The volume's low?
Your mic.
Better.
Okay. All I know is that he submitted the form, and he has a name for his entry, but, it doesn't really tell me anything, because he names all of his stuff, after Chinese mythological and side story stuff.
He's been posting updates on Facebook for his thing.
Well, I don't know. I don't actively browse the stuff, and I tell any of my my staff to not browse the stuff either, so they don't get biased.
Like a amalgamation of other kits, as always.
But that's what he does every year, so it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, I'm just gonna aim for a small scale.
Nah, you got this, Chris. You're gonna win.
Fuck yourself, Tim. You piece of shit.
I love this.
Where do you find that at?
He's Mr. Dash on Facebook.
He's Mr. Dash. What is he, like a spokesman for Mr. Hobby?
Nah, don't even worry about it, cause Chris has got this. He's gonna beat everybody at New York Comic Con, and Mike too. Mike, you didn't know that, but Chris is gonna beat your ass.
I died.
Chris, we talking
The
about?
first step is accepted, so I'm glad you're there already.
I am. I've accepted my eventual defeat.
That's right.
Chris, are we talking about? Which Chris are you talking about?
Oh,
Me?
Chris on the chat.
Oh.
Oh, thanks for laughing. Yeah.
Mike was like, that's some fun.
Oh, that guy.
Excuse me, I gotta go. Something in my eye.
Yeah.
You're making him cry, damn you!
Well, I haven't quite figured out the figures yet. Like he's supposed to be too close to the big robot to come crashing down next to him. So it's like
That just freaked me out. Like your camera's like, why are you so far away from your build?
Across the room.
It's like, whoa.
I'm actually just very small. I'm about 2 feet tall, and I'm speaking to you from a window, in the back wall of my room.
Good.
No, I mean I haven't figured out the figures yet. It's like the biggest problem for me with this. Like, I kind of built them all out of like mix and match parts from a figure set, trying to get the poses that I want, but starting to think that that's not going to work out, and I'm just going to have to like cut their limbs at the joints and just resculpt them in better poses or something. I don't know. I really haven't done many dioramas at all, so hopefully I can make it work.
What's this diorama for, George?
What's it for?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like what show, or?
Are you building it specifically for anything?
Well, you know, I mean, like anything that I build, I'm gonna bring to every model show I go to for a little while. I'd love to have it. I'd love it to have it ready for like the local IPMS stuff and for SCGMC if I can make it.
Cool.
I was actually trying to get this done for last SCGMC, but you know that didn't happen.
I think I remember hearing you talk about that.
I love the kit though. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Like there's you know, parts that don't fit quite right, and ball joints that like the ball is a little bit too big, so if you move it around, it just pops out of the socket, things like that. But
Sounds like every kid.
I don't know. No, definitely not like every kit. I mean, I've worked with a lot of kits, Bandai and non-Bandai, and this is like the first one where I've had that kind of issue where just the ball joint barely fits together and doesn't really stay. I mean, I had to spend a bunch of time carving the ball joints down so that they'd stay put pretty well, and they still pop out every now and then. But I don't know. This is just like, it's expensive for what it is, but it's really like my kind of kit. Put it that way.
What scale is it?
1/35.
35th?
Yep. So I think it's like supposed to be 6 meters tall or something. Maybe a little bit of stretch to figure out how a pilot can fit into that chest block, but you know,
Well, it's like those
What else is new?
Mac SF 3D kits.
Oh, it's a lot bigger than Machine and Krieger. Most of that stuff is just like powered suit stuff.
Yeah, but then even some of those like suits are I have a hard time trying to like picture how those suits are, how the people fit in those suits.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of tried to address that a little bit with the Machine and Krieger build that I'm working on. It's like, the way the kit is out of the box, like the legs are a little bit too far apart for a pilot to fit into them. So when I was resculpting the joint covers, I was thinking about that. But it's still kind of a stretch. Like his arm would have to be way like out to the side to work the suit arm and whatever. Fantasy.
Angel, you ready? No.
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Oh, 10 minutes till we're done.
Till the end of the world.
I can paint these up right now.
Your what?
So I can go ahead and put a primer on it.
I have Chris presenting. He looks like he's working with plaster cloth, smoothing out edges. So typically for diorama building, what did you use for the base? Did you use styrofoam blocks?
Well, for this one, I'm using. I got this idea for an IKEA picture frame to start off with. I don't know where it came from. I got this idea. Yeah, I did that. I cut the base down, and like this part here, this is the wall. That's what is it? A quarter-inch piece of wood with a hot glue to it, and then plaster on top of it. And I have two plastic rods that for when I run the wiring in there.
So what's the ground effects like?
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, is there something to the texture that you're doing, or is this straight up?
I'm gonna let me just flip it over. Like here and in some places I just did thin plaster. I'm gonna like this is supposed to be sort of a runway that the gym will be on. And then I'll have the water where there's gawks coming out of the water. And I'll have the girders, like so it's kind of like the edge of the whatever the hell it's called, the hangar inside the. It's from that episode of the original Gundam. And I'm probably gonna end up using like clay just to smooth it out a bit.
I highly recommend paper clay. If you've ever...
Yeah, I use hold on a second.
It dries very lightweight. Well, so.
I like to use this stuff. Yeah, it is paper clay, yeah. I think it is. DOS. It's air hardening clay, I'm sorry, not paper. So that's it. And then this will be the roof. Once I put the lighting in.
That looks heavy.
It's not. Maybe like half a pound?
That looks heavy.
Well, you've seen how kits are treated in display cases. They gotta be heavy.
True.
I honestly did not intend that to be a jab. That was just I realized after I said it, I was like, wait a minute, no.
I like how Tim's background is trying desperately focus on the white.
Oh.
Not Tim himself, just his board.
See, it does that because it can't. There's no contrast on the base.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why it does that. Son of a bitch.
5 minutes.
What happened now?
Huh?
Oh no, I heard you scream son of a bitch, so I thought something happened.
Oh no, the camera's still doing it. You watch, it'll do it.
It's
And now it's not. Oh well. Oh, there we go.
Well, the goal is to not have to do it, right?
And now it stopped. And now it starts. And now it stops. I should just keep doing that. But the panel lines are coming out nice.
God.
No.
What was that?
What the fuck was that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Being a DJ,
that was weird.
That was crazy.
someone was scratching some records, man.
It was a good beat, though.
Yeah, were we gonna start a rave or what?
No, it was an angel.
Someone forgot the lube.
I think that happens every so often with the, YouTube can't handle bandwidth or something.
Chris, get the glow sticks.
Well, Tim's still presenting. So we have, we're running out of time today. We have 2 minutes, so I'm gonna go around the room and see if anyone has anything to plug. Xavier, you have anything to plug? You're first on the list.
Stop sewing up a person.
Yeah, that was him.
Tim, you have anything to plug?
How about Reddit?
Nate?
No, Tim's talking. He
I don't have
can't
anything to plug.
San Diego Build Gatherings. Well, depends. We find out Thursday if they happen or not.
Yeah.
Matt, you have anything to plug?
Nope.
You're just plugging away on your hand painting. That's insane.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the zone.
Mr. Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah. Southern California Gundam Model Competition this November.
Awesome.
Be there.
Right?
No,
Show up, bring your kits, get judged, win stuff.
it's down to like 12, between 12 and 11 weeks till the show. Crazy.
So show up, bring your kits, and get judged.
George.
And be judged.
Hey, George. Yes. No plus
Get the glow stick.
Nothing at this time.
Have fun, man.
Mr. Chris. Plugs.
Yeah, since you're gonna win anyway.
Right, no plugs from Chris. Angel, you
Are
have
you
anything
going
plug?
to take your ball and go home?
Yeah,
Exactly.
do we want to announce the possible restock of T-shirts?
Oh yeah, we're restock. We're having the at least we're having the Federation shirts reprinted. So we will have stock of small, medium, and 2XLs. We only have a few 2XLs, but once those are available, I'll make a post, and they should be available sometime next week. And we'll see how we go with that.
Other than that, no, I'm good.
Cool.
Hey, come back to me.
What?
Come back to me. My mic's on now.
Yes.
All right, so Chowder Mecha on Facebook, chowdermecha.com, Store Envy, Chowder Mecha, and most importantly, Chowder Mecha on Reddit. So that's all I got.
All right, guys, and with that, we'll see you in another 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Chile, so I'm going to try to broadcast from Chile. If you guys down in Santiago, hit me up, and I'll be down there for a week. With that, see you guys in 2 weeks.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Night.